we get so lost in our chatter and in our own heads that we don't try to see things from the other person's perspective. And what I would invite everyone to do is don't assume. If something is unclear, just ask. And you know what? If you ask at the early stage, when the stories in your head are still small, you can overcome it and you can even strengthen the relationship.
We have the pleasure of welcoming Saahil Mehta today to our interview series. I'm Vanessa Rose from the peopleHum team. Let's begin with just a quick introduction of People. peopleHum is an end-to-end, one view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and the video channel, which receives upwards of 200,000 visitors a year, and publish around 2 interviews with well-known names globally every week. And now for our guest, Saahil Mehta is a co-founder of RestNet World and a decluttering coach. He helps in increasing profitability and managing the flow of work. His other interests include maximizing revenue and profitability through increased online presence and e-distribution for independents worldwide by driving more direct bookings. We hope to help our viewers with his amazing new ideas about decluttering and creating a more harmonious workplace. Welcome, Saahil. We are thrilled to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
So the first question I had for you, Saahil, was, can you please elaborate a little bit about your work as a decluttering coach?
Absolutely. So primarily I work with leaders who are struggling with mental overload to reach their summit through a 5-step process which helps them to live a more healthy, stress-free lifestyle with financial abundance. And decluttering is a word that some people automatically think it's something about the material world. It's about cleaning out my closet or cleaning out my home. But decluttering, if you were to imagine, if I put all these weights around your feet and then I ask you to run, whether that weight is some baggage from the past relating to the mental clutter you have, it could be physical clutter, it could be your body that's getting in the way because of health issues. These are all the things that are preventing you from soaring to new heights to achieve greatness. So the tools that I share with the audience and the process that I have is really decluttering from the material world, the body, people, and the mind so that you can reach your greatness.
That is such a wholesome topic. It's really interesting. So, how do you think employees underperform and how can an organization fix that issue?
So this is a great question. And the key here is direction and purpose. Am I doing this job just to get my salary at the end of the month? Is that also how the employer makes me feel? Right? It's two ways. It could be your mindset, it can be their mindset, or a combination of the two. But where are you going to get the best results from me if I'm your employee? It's if I believe in your vision. I believe that what you're doing is great for society, is great for the world. It's something that's adding value. And I feel privileged and honored to be a part of it. So if the employer wants to get the most out of me and I want to be the most productive that I can be, is I need to believe in the direction that this company is headed in. And as long as I'm aligned with that vision, you're going to see phenomenal results.
That makes so much sense. For an employee to give his best, he needs to know where the organization is headed.
Exactly. And if you're keeping me in the dark and not sharing information with me and just saying, this is your job profile, this is what you do, that's fine. I mean, I can get to a certain point. But if you want exceptional results where I'm giving it my all, I have to believe. And that belief can only come in with you aligning me with your goals and your vision. So that communication is absolutely key in order to get the results that any organization or any employee would love to give. And you know what? Guess turnover of employees reduces. You won't even have to ask me to work overtime. If I'm so passionate about it and I need to stay an extra half an hour, 45 minutes, no problem. I'm going to do that every now and again because I believe and I'm passionate about where you are going. So again, it's all comes down to communication and communicating that key message so that we are all aligned. If everybody is going in different directions, you're not going to get efficiency and highest level of productivity. But if all the people in the company are all walking or running in the same direction, just imagine the results you can achieve.
That's really true. So, moving on, according to you, what considerations does one need to be mindful of for completing the self evaluation component of a performance review?
Wow, this is a fantastic question. It's you need to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself, not what is it that I want to highlight, that look at me, and let the ego kick in, but ask yourself, if I hired myself, am I happy with the performance that I have given over the last, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months? Which are areas that I would like to improve, which are areas I kind of let it go and could improve. So it's a combination of the two. One is my own skill set, which I feel I didn't pursue to its maximum. The other one is, if the company would help me to learn this, I could do my job better. So it's a combination, right? Of what am I able to do and what can the company offer me as well to elevate my performance. But it's ask yourself, if you hired yourself, are you happy with the performance over the last whichever number of months the performance review is under? Or do you feel that, you know what, I could improve here? I wish I did that better. But these were certainly areas which I did really well. So I want to highlight them as well. If you're going to just keep blowing your own trumpet, the other person on the other side is going to say, can I even believe this individual? All they're saying is just the good things. But what about the areas of improvement? Remember, it's not a bad thing. Bad is a very negative word. I did not perform. It's where can I improve? Always take it with a positive twist, with a positive light. Just by changing the words in your head, you go from a negative state of mind to a positive state of mind. So always look at how can I improve? Because if you're living a life with your glass full, you're never going to improve, right? You know everything. But if you are like a sponge and you say, I want to absorb, that's when you're going to start seeing results.
So it's not only about quantity, but actually having a conscience and giving your best.
Yeah, yeah. And look, we all have our ups and downs. There are days where I perform better, there are days where I don't perform as well. But again, I have to be brutally honest with myself and say, and be aware, why is it that I did not perform well today? Is it because of something someone said to me? Did I miss the bus and hence I was running and barely made it to work, so my mindset wasn't straight? Did I eat something that didn't suit my body? Did I get a bad night's sleep? Start becoming more aware of when you're doing well and when you're not doing as well, because that helps you to self-evaluate continuously and say, okay, on the good days, these are the things that happen. How can I replicate that again and again so that my performances gets better and better and better?
That's really true. So, how do you think leaders ensure their feedback translates into impact?
So I love this one. Two-way communication is absolutely key. So let's just take a scenario where I'm the leader and you are the person who is getting the performance review or the feedback. Now, if it's just me talking and you doing a bit of this, nodding your head up and down and saying, okay, okay, okay. And then once I'm done talking, I say, okay, thank you. You can leave now. Have I acknowledged that you actually understood what I'm saying? Have I acknowledged that you are crystal clear? Did I even ask you, do you have any questions? Because maybe you have some questions as well. So that's one component, right? It's making sure that whatever you're saying is understood. And let me elaborate a little bit on that as well, because there's a component in here that's very important, which is going to go both ways, by the way, because even when the employer asks the employee, and the employee also has to ask back, right, if they're not clear on something. And if they also keep their mouth shut or their mind starts going off in some different direction, both may fail at something called listening. Now, what is the type of listening that I'm speaking about? Imagine yourself on an airplane, you're on a domestic flight, traveling from one city to another, and you've been on a domestic flight maybe 50, 100 times over the course of your career so far. Now, when you hear the announcement regarding how to wear your seatbelt, how to wear your life vest, you're listening, but you're not really listening. I call it passive listening, right? Because you've heard it so many times before. You say, I know this. And you're probably reading a book or speaking to the passenger next to you or listening to your music, whatever it might be. Now, the listening that I'm talking about is active listening. It's the one where, for example, I tell you, listen, I'm going to tell you 5 numbers right now. If you can repeat those 5 numbers back to me in the exact same order, you're going to win 10 lakh rupees. Now I've got your attention and you're listening so carefully because you know if you make a mistake, you lose the chance of winning that 10 lakh rupees. So when the feedback is being given, is the employee actively listening? And the only way you can gauge that is by asking questions during the feedback. Is that clear? Would you like me to clarify anything? Or even better, can you please repeat back to me what you understood? And the same way, when the employee is asking the employer about questions, if you feel that it's not clear, ask questions as much as you want to or need to ensure that you're aligned. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you both walk out of that room and the employer thought he spoke about East and you understood West. So again, it's a two-way communication where active listening is absolutely critical in order to have that understanding between the two.
And I think the employee also needs to feel like he's valued and heard.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And I can't imagine a feedback happening where one person speaks, the other one listens, and then that's the end of it. It's also a great opportunity for the employee to raise certain things and request, for example, that, I would love to learn this. That would help me to, do my job the way that you would like me to do. I'm excited. It's a great way to connect with, at two different levels and use that opportunity because you don't have reviews every day. This is that one opportunity you get every quarter, every 6 months, every year, however frequent it is, to work on educating yourself and improving yourself, right? It's not a criticism, right? It's constructive. So it's also very important for the mindset of both people when they go in is that if someone even says something that you may not like to hear, we have to understand the intention is to grow. It's constructive. It's not destructive. So again, the mindset is also very important in this process.
I think there's a very fine line between how you take criticism, and that defines how you grow.
Mm-hmm.
So, since we're speaking about employee feedback, what are the unexpected places to look into? Do you?
So it's all about formal versus informal setting, right? I don't know about you, but if I'm sitting in something at a dining table at a corporate dinner, and everyone's in a suit, and everyone behaves in a certain manner because it's more formal. Now, what if I said, what, I would like to communicate in a different way, and how about I organize an offsite where it's a half day or a full day with the family or without the families, where we're just doing team building exercises. Now, all of a sudden, in team building, and it's very important for the management to portray this, is that here we are all working together as equals to try to win and whatever challenge that they're giving us, right, at the team building offsite. Now, if we are all equal, I'm going to feel much more comfortable opening up and sharing with you. And because it's a more casual setting and we're not all suited up and in ties, and we're all wearing perhaps shorts and t-shirt, doing all these activities, which in some cases even involve some sports or whatever it might be. Now it's a more casual setting. I'm more relaxed. We can have a conversation. I'll probably be more open to you. But if we're going to be tables sitting opposite each other, suit, tie, very fancy in a boardroom setting, my mind is not going to be relaxed. it's going to be, it's going to be very focused, thinking, oh, I better be careful what I say or do here. So how about trying those informal activities, those offsites, or anything that's informal, where the other person can let their guard down and just have a casual conversation? And there's so much you can get from one another through a casual conversation.
So you're saying environment plays a really huge role too in the way people behave.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with the increase in the millennial workforce, the gig economy is gaining a lot of momentum. So how do you think gig workers are going to fit in the current organizational setup we have right now?
Well, with the challenging times that we're facing right now, there are a lot of companies, including mine, where when things start to open up and business starts to flow again, in some roles, which maybe I'm trying out or new verticals that I might try, do I really want to have a full time employee? Or would I say, you know what? Let me go hire one of these millennials who, anyway, is not always looking for something full time. They also want to try something out. So, they're happy to do something on a project basis or on a, independent contract basis where they're providing their service. So it really, you're hitting two birds with one stone here, because companies will be reluctant to hiring full-time employees, especially for new projects, right? Or new verticals, because they're trying it out and they don't know what the outcome may be. And for the on the other side, the person is also happy to not make a full-time commitment, because they also want to see how is the company. They want flexibility. The millennials, they prefer flexibility in terms of hours, in terms of days of the week they work, in terms of is this the right company for me? Do I believe in what they're doing? So both sides are happy. And the way you can even look at this, if I may, is an engagement before you get married. It could turn into full-time employment, because maybe both parties say, hey, we like working with one another, let's make this more formal. And if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, then it's okay. The commitment wasn't there. Both are happy because they came in with a temporary mindset anyway, which was project based or time based. So yeah, I do believe the gig economy is going to grow at a very rapid pace, just because people want to try. They want to try before they commit. Now there is a little bit of fear in people, and this helps to alleviate that fear. Because when I hire you full time, I'm also under a lot of pressure in the interview, right? Did I hire the right person? But here, I have flexibility, even if I don't have to put too much pressure on HR or the interviewing process. As long as you check certain boxes which are important to us as a company, we say, okay, let's move forward.
I think the freedom that exists between the two parties here also helps in improving productivity.
And I'd even like to say this. In our company, in one of my companies, which is Resnet World, where we work with independent hotels, we sign a contract with them. And I'm saying this because it's very relevant to the gig economy. We sign a contract with them, which our competitors usually sign 2 or 3 year contracts, which are locked in with high penalties if you leave. We sign a 1 year contract, but we only lock the person in for 3 months. And we say after that, if you want to stay, you stay. If you want to leave, you leave. This, I'm referring to our client. And why do we do that? So this is the mindset I want to share with you here is, if things are working out, we'll continue working. But if for whatever reason things are not working out, we part on good ways without trying to penalize one another and put the other down. That is similar to what we just spoke about in the gig economy, is that let's work together. If it's working out, we'll continue to work together. And if it doesn't, we'll part ways. And, I wish you the best of luck wherever you end up going.
Both can have a choice here. It's not just up to one person.
Exactly.
So Sahil, are there any thoughts you'd like to leave our viewers with?
The one thought that I would love to put into other people's minds and plant a seed is, we get so lost in our own mind with the chatter that's going on in our head, interpreting things when people say and make assumptions, or how someone smiled at us. It was not a nice smile, it was a mean smile, it was a nice smile. We get so lost in our chatter and in our own heads that we don't try to see things from the other person's perspective. And what I would invite everyone to do is, don't assume. If something is unclear, just ask. And you know what? If you ask at the early stage, when the stories in your head are still small, you can overcome it and you can even strengthen the relationship rather than letting it grow in your mind. And next thing you know, there's a big distance and a wall, if you want to call it, between two colleagues over an assumption. Let me give you an example. You came to the office today and you sit next to me, but you didn't greet me. I could think, who does she think she is? She thinks she's above me, doesn't even have the decency to say hello or good morning. Now, maybe you missed your bus, you came running to work, or you some other method. You're really stressed. You had to send out an email within 60 seconds, otherwise your job was on the line. And I could have just asked and said, "Are you okay? Is everything fine?" It's not like you not to say good morning, and give and show compassion and love and reach out. And then you would have been, "Oh, thank you, I'm really struggling, I missed my bus, I have to send this mail out, the management is depending on this for the meeting that's about to start in a few minutes. Could you please help me with this? Thank you so much for helping." And now, instead of a distance occurring between the two of you, you became closer and you became more of a unit. So let's stop with those assumptions and understand from the other person's perspective, so that we don't let crazy stories blow up like a volcano.
This is so beautiful. Everyone has their own story, and we shouldn't let trivial things boggle us down. Thank you, Sahil. This was amazing. I really enjoyed. It was really inspiring to me, and I'm sure it will be to our audience too.
Absolutely. It was my absolute pleasure. Should anyone want to get in contact with me, please do share my details. But I'm sharing tips on a frequent basis on social media, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, and I will start sharing more on LinkedIn as well. So feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.